Well, Mia Simone here, communications coordinator with Pan Am Sports here at Karani James. What an amazing just person and athlete. So honoring Grenada and celebrating just your accomplishments and your achievements across your entire life. I first wanted to ask you, looking back at your career, is there one race or moment that kind of like is most meaningful to you more than any medal or record?
I would say the race that would be the most meaningful when I look back on it would be 2012 Olympics. I think what I did for the country, the diaspora, even for our region, coming from a small country and being able to win a gold medal, I think that was special. That's what I'm always reminded of, when I interact with people. Whether it's from Grenada, whether it's Grenadans in the diaspora, whether it's other Caribbean people or in our Pan Am region as well. That's what I get the most statements about.
Walk me through your emotions of that incredible race. What were you feeling directly after, and then just in the moments and days and weeks afterwards?
Well, the moment how I felt was just a lot of pride, for my country, for the journey and everything, just to get there. So seeing pictures, from back home, and people are, very jubilant and celebrating, and there's so much emotion that flowed during that time. I feel for me that was really special. And then I got a chance to go home, and they had a motorcade, a rally, all of those things. So seeing people come out in the streets and celebrate and all of those things, it really made me understand that what I did was not just winning a medal for myself, but it was for every single Grenadian. Anybody that has some type of affiliation with Grenada, it was also for them.
How have the people close to you or your family kind of shaped your journey in athletics, and what role do the people close to you play in keeping you grounded in both the highs and the lows of being such a top tier athlete?
Yeah, I think they play an important part in keeping me grounded. They are the ones I consider that would know me the best, that knows, how I feel, what my motivations are, what my purpose is, those kind of things. So they really do help me, stay grounded, and knowing that they always have my back. They're always proud of me, whether the race goes well or it doesn't go well. I know that I could fall back on them and lean on them for support. Knowing that, it gives me a lot of freedom to try and go and express myself, right? And on the track, of course. And so knowing that they're there, they've been with me, from since the beginning, knowing that the support is there, it frees up a lot of things for me.
That's amazing. And who are some of those family members or close friends who, just been with you throughout your journey?
Yeah, I mean, I would say my immediate family members, my mother, she passed away a couple of years ago. My older brother, my younger sister, friends that I grew up with in the community that, we used to play, football on the beach, things like that. And, all of those kind of things, them, knowing that their support is there, classmates, all of those folks, I think, were really, really important in just, like I said, just keeping me grounded. That's why, when I go home, I try to go home at least once a year. Even though I live in the States, I call it almost like my pilgrimage when I go home, right? Where
Yeah.
it's going home and seeing them and interacting with them. It really keeps me grounded to know that, what I'm doing is not just for myself, but I'm representing something, a lot more people than myself. And that really helps
Much
me.
bigger than you.
Yeah, it re-energizes me, it re-motivates me, and it really gives me that perspective that, to keep my feet on the ground, and to try to always do my best.
So, at this stage in your career, how have you kind of just like your goals, I guess, evolved, and what's still driving you to grow and to compete and to get better each day?
I feel like my goals, yeah, it has changed a bit. I think now is trying to just enjoy it a little bit more. Not put too much pressure on myself to, win or to come up on top, or to have these times or anything like that. And really just try to, set my own personal goals and do things that, matter for me. And yeah, and just kind of enjoy the experience and the years, that I think that I have, to continue. So yeah, I think it's just important for me right now to just keep that mindset of not, putting too much pressure on myself, and just try to enjoy the moment, right? And really just embrace all of the things that are happening, whether it's good or bad, and know that it's just it's a natural cycle in the journey, right? And just try to really take that perspective in and just really look back and appreciate everything that has happened.
What are some things you enjoy to do outside of the track just to keep you grounded or to keep you remembering your why and keep you, continuing to just grow and evolve and keep yourself sane as well?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, when I'm not on the track, I try to kind of shut down, the track stuff a little bit, try not to think about it. So, I'm really big on entertainment, or entertaining myself, whether that's through movies or TV shows or video games or even books or anything like that. You try to kind of get away. I'm sort of like a homebody. So when I'm not, competing, or I'm not in the spotlight, I try to kind of be a little bit, enjoy solitude a little bit, and not too much obviously, because it becomes an unhealthy habit. But just try to enjoy a lot of downtime, right? And just try to spend time with loved ones. So when I go home, I don't usually go home and go out and do a lot of things. I'm usually with my friends or with my family, and we're just hanging out, those kind of things. So that's what I really like to do, is to kind of be in small circles with our friends and family and just kind of really embrace that and experience that.
So you said that you're a homebody. What's the best movie you've watched in 2026 or best TV show that you've watched?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. Man, I would say the best one I have watched. That's a really good question. You caught me off guard there.
Yeah, you said you're a
Yeah,
homebody. You have
you
all the
caught me, you
time.
caught me off guard there, man. But when you say the best one I've watched, yeah, that's interesting. I think I'm a big, I don't know if it ended this year or not, but Severance was a really good show that I enjoyed. Yeah, that was a really good show that I think it ended last year, but yeah, I would say that would be one of them. Also, I really enjoyed. I mean, I didn't go into movie theaters and watch it. I watched it home, but the Avatar movie I really enjoyed as well.
I've heard both. I've heard really good reviews on both, so I'll have to
Yeah,
take you up on that and watch it.
yeah. No, so yeah, that was pretty good shows. Yeah.
Well, how has 2026 gone for you so far? Just physically, mentally, competitively, has anything surprised you about kind of where you are at this point of the year?
Somewhat, yeah. This year I've kind of always kind of looked at it as, sort of a year to kind of take a little bit more time off, or take the year a little bit more slower. So that's what I've been doing. So started the season a little bit later than usual, and just trying to build, and like I said, not put too much pressure on performing, because it's so sort of an off year for us in athletics. So yeah, so just trying to kind of get through the year, make sure that I stay as healthy as possible, and try to use it as a springboard for next year.
So, speaking of next year, with the Pan American Games happening in Lima in 2027, what are your thoughts about competing? I know you never did it in the
Yeah.
Pan Am Games before. Do you have any plans to? Are you training for it? What are your thoughts around that competition?
Yeah, well, I still haven't made a decision on that yet. It is sounds very intriguing. As long as the schedule is conducive for it, then I think I would be interested in it. But it is a lot more things at play to just say that, yeah, I'm gonna be there, because of how full our athletic schedule is. So yeah, but definitely I think the Pan Am Games is an integral part of just us as a region just being together.
For sure, and there have been so many successful Grenadians to compete in those competitions as well. And just speaking on that, as one of the most esteemed athletes, not just in Grenada, but in the entire region, do you feel sort of this like intention to be a sort of leader and hold like a legacy towards younger athletes in Grenada?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, it's important to set a positive example. It's important to, show people that they could use sports in so many ways for positive or betterment, for whether it's our personal selves or for a more collective society. So I think sports plays an integral part in, I've seen what it's done for my life personally, and I've also seen what the emotion that is brought to my country and my community, right? And so when you have those things happen, obviously you realize that sports is not just something that we go, we kick a ball or we run on a track and that's it. But there is such a deep emotional aspect to it, where it's almost like it's just a part of our psychological needs. We get a sense of belonging from it. We get a sense of community. We get all these things from it, and it's important for us to recognize those things and try to use it for the betterment, for whether, like I said, for our personal selves or for in a more collective way.
What does it mean for you to have your name etched across the streets of Grenada, from the athletic stadium to Ronnie James Boulevard? How do you think that people have really just embraced you as a country?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's just an incredible honor to have those things, bestowed upon, right? When I, set out to compete and to do athletics, one of those things was on my mind. It was, okay, how can I use the situation to improve, my own life, and how can I use it as a tool to represent my country, right? To give people a sense of pride, a sense of just connection, right? And so when you have those things bestowed upon you, really and truly realize how important it is. When people feel a certain sense of pride, it makes them just very just generous, a lot more generous when they feel that pride, when they feel that emotion. And so for me, when you have those things named after you, it's just a huge honor for me, and I'm just humbled because I've never set out to say, okay, this is what I want to get out of the sport, to have my name plastered over anything. It was always about how can I represent my country in the best way I could possibly can, and to bring that pride and emotion to people.
And just continuing on that theme of being, the pride of the people and just honoring your country, this has become Grenada's first Olympic champion to appear on Eastern Caribbean currency, replacing Queen Elizabeth. That's huge news. Congratulations. What are
Thank
your
you.
thoughts about that? What was the reaction when you first found out?
My reaction when I first found out is similar to the reaction when I found out all the other accolades that I've had. It's just surprise. It's like I've never
Yeah.
imagined those things would have happened, right? So when it does happen, you kind of obviously, like, just to be completely honest, there is a little bit of like imposter syndrome that comes with it, where you're like, okay, I mean, I know what I do on the track. I know that I'm pretty good at it, but is that worthy of it? So there is a little bit of that where it's like, sometimes it's a little bit uneasy to just accept it like that, but like you say, when you talk to family, when you talk to friends and you tell them about it and you see how proud they are about it, right? You realize, what it means for them, and you kind of absorb that emotion from them, and you realize, no, like, what you did for the country was important, and if that's the way they choose to honor you, then you have to accept it, because it's not up to you, and just be able to embrace all of those positive things. So yeah, I think it's just getting more comfortable embracing those things and realizing that maybe as I'm getting older too, it changes a little bit. So yeah, just for me, like I said, just a huge sense of humility when they announced that I was going to be on the bill. And it's funny because when it happened, the message came like directly from the Prime Minister of Grenada. So every time you get a message from him, okay, that's kind of a big deal because he's a busy guy. Yeah, it's important. So yeah, so that's also special as well when you get that message coming from someone with that amount of prestige. I mean, it makes it even better.
And it's just so important that you mentioned imposter syndrome. Who knew that the great Karani James, like the rest of us humans, and experiences imposter syndrome? That just really goes to show, just how humble you are, how incredible you are. The Prime Minister actually talked about your character, saying that you represent the best of us, not just by your achievements, but who you are as a person. And how do you want to be remembered personally, as whether it's an athlete, as a Grenadian, as a human being?
For me, I would like to be remembered as someone who just tried their best to represent the country with pride, right? We are, a country of, 110,000 people. I always use the analogy that, the university I went to, the University of Alabama's football stadium, you could fit the whole population into one stadium, right? So, and we've been through a lot. We've been through hurricanes, we've been through, a lot of, economic stuff as well. So to be able to give, people a sense of pride, a sense of hope, a sense of, just belonging, like even in the diaspora, people, it's something that people can, use to connect, right? The people in the diaspora, and people say, yeah, I was talking to someone and I tell them I'm from Grenada, and they say, oh, you're from the same country as Kirani James, and that just opens up the conversation a lot more easier for them, right? So that's how I kind of want to be remembered, just as an ambassador for Grenada, as ambassador for the Caribbean, and ambassador for the larger region on a whole.
That's incredible. So, as the ambassador for Grenada, I have to ask you, what is the best food in Grenada? And if someone was visiting, where should they go first? Whether it's an activity or a community, what should they do?
Oh, that's a fun question. So our national dish is called oil down.
Oil done?
Yeah, oil down.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so that's something you definitely have to try. I mean, for me, it's like we do it a lot around our Independence Time, which is February 7th. So if you're ever in Grenada around that time, you're going to get a lot of oil down. So it's one of, yeah, it's like I say, it's also, you know, a food of national pride. So when somebody makes it and they give it to you, that's pretty important. So I would say that's the biggest thing you have to try when you come to Grenada is oil down. Also, our Grenadian chocolate is really good as well. So make sure when you do go home, it's locally made, locally sourced, all of it. And I would say the one place that you would have to go, but two places I would say is, you know, my hometown of Guelph. Obviously, I have to promote Guelph because if I don't, if I don't, they'll be upset with me. So, because I know they'll be watching or reading and all of it. And I would say, you know, visit Grandance Beach. I would say that's one of the highlights that we have. It's such a fantastic place, beautiful. It stretches for, you know, a mile plus, and yeah, it's just a really chill vibe, chill beach that you can go and just kind of relax. You could fall asleep on there. You could, you know, do just beautiful, and it looks incredible. So that's what I would say. Also, I would say to visit the underwater sculpture park.
An underwater sculpture park?
Yes, underwater sculpture park. Yes.
Wow. Tell me more.
Yeah, so we have on the western side of our island, we have an underwater sculpture park that we've done. So you go there and you see a lot of sculptures. We have historical sculptures. We have a whole host of stuff. I mean, it's been a while since I even checked up on it. I'm sure they've added even more stuff. But what the most important thing is that it doubles as a habitat for fish. So it also is like a coral thing.
Coral
So
reef,
yeah,
yeah.
like a coral reef, so it kind of doubles as that. So you get a lot of fishes that are in there, a lot of species of water organisms that are there. So it's not just there just to look good, but it also provides a holistic benefit as well. So yeah, that's what I would say.
That is amazing. Well, you heard it from Karani James. Be sure to visit all of those places. I definitely want to visit. It's going to be incredible. I hope I can go one day soon. But thank you so much for sitting down with Pan Am Sports this evening. It was an honor to just talk to you. Thank you for just sharing your life with us, sharing about your experience and your goals and just who you are as a person. Your character is incredible, and it's been amazing to chat with you.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries. Of course. We'll see you.
All right, thanks.